To make concern, it's a cool podcast. Listen with your friends or listen with your dog, man. Subscribe today or I'll be in your closet. To make concern, that's a really cool podcast.
Hey yo, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another episode of To Whom It May Concern. We are back once again with another episode for you guys. And if you saw the last episode, you know exactly what's going on. I'm the producer now. That means Will, he's in the back seat. I'm behind the wheel. So, how you doing today, Will?
I am doing great. I am so glad I don't have to come up with topics. All the hard work. You can edit this video. You can upload it. You can do all of that fun stuff. How do you feel about that, Steven?
Absolutely. You know, all that stuff sounds really easy. I'm sure that it won't be any challenge at all. But anyway, moving on to our first topics, which is to say that I just realized I didn't bring any topics to this episode. I was not aware that this was something that I had to prepare for.
Until you have a topic, I'm gonna go to sleep.
You know what I think? You know what I think, chat? I think he's mocking me for the fact that I was sleeping before this podcast started, and he actually called me on the phone to wake me up and tell me that we had to do a podcast because I agreed to doing the podcast at this time, and then I wasn't ready for it.
All right, first off, what kind of chat are you talking to? This is pre-recorded.
The YouTube chat. The comments section. They're just called chat because that's just how it works.
But secondly, yeah, that is true. I did have to. I called him because, I was telling him, hey, it's time to do the podcast. And what was funny was on his Discord account, it said he was playing something. I forgot what it's called, but it said he was playing something for like an hour. So I was like, oh, okay, that means he's up. And
he's up and running.
On Discord already.
He's functional.
So I called him, and he said it'd take him just a minute to get everything set up. So I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And
I think he
started
counting down on the phone, and I'm going to be honest, I literally, was half listening, and I went to start doing things that I needed to do to get ready, and I kind of wasn't listening to the phone that well, but I did hear him a few seconds later just hang up. So evidently
I was like, okay, you wanna know what I did? I did that joke of counting down. Remember in our first episode on our Who channel where I was like 5, 4, 3, 2, 2, 2, 2. I just kept repeating that. And eventually I said, 1, execution. And then I hung up. But yeah.
Yes,
after that, he came on the call, and we are here. So, but yeah, welcome to Tour Mixer. If you've never seen the podcast before, this is where he, as the host, comes up with topics. I've never been the host.
Exactly.
Ever.
All those days of Will being the host, they're behind us. That stupid little...
No, not behind us. They never happened.
Yeah.
All those episodes, they're not real. They're the Mandela effect. Everyone believed that I was the host, but that's only what they remember.
That's because that's what they were conditioned to believe by the YouTube algorithm. See, we're here to disprove that and tell you guys the truth.
Yeah, it's because this is a truth that everyone deserves to know. Everyone was under a false perception of what our channel was, because everyone watches our channel, as we all know.
Yeah, exactly. Every single person in the universe, there's
many people subscribed. So many people are subscribed to us that actually breaks the subscriber count. That's why it only says 29.
It's actually an integer overflow. See, there's so many people subscribed to us that the number is so big that it actually rolls back over to 0 and then keeps counting up. So we actually have a lot more than 26 subscribers.
And we have a lot of money too, but because we're both humble people, we decided to stay in college to pursue our education.
Well, to be fair, even if I won the lottery, I don't know if I'd stay in college. I think I'd still pursue my career because I still want to go fly planes. So even if I won the lottery, I'd still pursue that. I don't know if I'd stay in college to do it. I might not. It depends.
Yeah, but yeah, but not for real. If you've never seen podcasts, this is where I will deliver topics. That's right, I'm coming clean. I'm the actual host, and I deliver topics for
But
Steven
you know, we
to
can just
respond to.
pretend like I'm the host, and like the viewers can just be
Yeah,
satisfied.
let's go ahead and feed his delusion of
Feed my
being the
ego.
host. Your ego. Let's inflate it.
Inflate it, bitch.
Because God knows no one should inflate my own ego. That's a dangerous thing right there.
Well, I mean, to be fair, if you put really any more air into that, it's likely to just explode.
Literally or figuratively. If you put any more air in me.
I'm not sure how to respond to that.
And this is where we explain the joke. The joke is I am fat. that's the explanation.
Yeah, chat.
Right
It was a fat joke. Get it right.
There is no chat, Steven. Shut up about the chat. There's no.
Can you hear that, chat? He's trying to act like you don't exist so that he doesn't have to acknowledge you. Okay? Will you stand for that, chat? Are you really just gonna sit there and take that? Cancel this man. Absolutely flame him in the comments, chat. Just walk all over him with your words. That sounded really weird.
Walk over me. What?
Don't do that. Don't do
Why
that.
did you add that? But yeah. To start this off, I actually have a funny story. So the other day, I was in my dorm. I was walking to the elevator to go down to the first floor. I think I was just trying to get water
Wow, your
from
dorm
the
has
water
an
fountain.
elevator? Wow.
Yeah, it's one of those dorms that have elevators.
Look at this fancy man having elevators in his dorm. Man, so fancy. Way to flex.
Well, I can't flex with something that I had to take out a loan to get. You know what I mean?
I had to take out a loan
Anyone
too.
can do that.
You don't see me having an elevator in my apartment building. I mean, to be fair, I only live on
That just sounds like a skill issue, honestly. You didn't have the skills to select something that had an elevator.
Excuse me.
That's what I
for
see.
your information, I'll have you know that I selected this apartment because of its cheap ass rent, not because it was nice or anything like that.
And that's your call. I mean, here's the thing, that's your call.
I mean, to be fair, this place is
I
still
made
pretty
my
nice.
call
But
to pick a dorm that had an elevator. But the thing is,
you
it's
also
one of those things where it's like, the
you-
first year I was here, my freshman year, I was in the same dorm, but I was on the first floor. And not only that, I was in a room that was on the first room you see when you go down a hallway. So it was like, whenever I arrived to my dorm to go home, all I had to do was walk into the lobby, take a left, and my dorm was just right there. But this year, and also next year too, because I got the same exact room for next year, I have to go up the elevator, and now my room is on the right at the dead end of a hallway that I have to walk all the way across.
Well,
So,
you know what? That
that's
just
kind of
sounds like a skill issue. You should have just been better at picking where your dorm room was. Yeah, how do you like that? How do you like that? See chat, I'm still the host. I'm still the host, chat. So, moving on.
I got a story to tell, goddammit!
No, your story's been denied. Your story is declared invalid by the host, who is me, by the way. I was just gonna sit there. Alright, chat, so moving on, I'm going to tell my own personal story now that has absolutely nothing to do with any of what Will just said. So, you know, earlier today...
Go on.
What the voice? Yeah, so Will mentioned. I actually do have a funny story to tell, but I will let Will tell his story first.
And the thing is, this story was about this podcast too. But so I went down this elevator, and there was a couple of guys who also got in the elevator with me, and one of them did kind of like a double take when seeing me. And it was like, "Oh, hey, you're the guy from the podcast that I saw." So,
Yo, we met one of our viewers.
one of our viewers, yes.
Shout out to that guy. Shout out to that guy. Thank you for watching.
So it's pretty much my first experience, my first fan interaction.
See, if we can have fan interactions, who knows where we're going from here.
And it shows that I'm doing my part to promote the podcast. So even though I'm not the host, according to this guy, I'm doing my part.
What do you mean, this guy? What's that supposed to mean? Do you know who I am? I am the host of
you're the host.
To Whom It May Concern podcast. The one and only. You can't just look at me and say this guy. Like, come on. Do I mean nothing to you?
I feel like we're running this joke into the ground.
Yeah, we kind of are.
Yeah. But yeah, we had a very brief interaction. I don't think unfortunately, I wasn't able to catch his name. So I was going to shout him out directly, but I didn't. I wasn't able to find out his name. So if you're watching, shout out to you. You know who you are.
Shout out to guy who saw Will in the elevator. I hope you continue to enjoy these
podcasts. Try to make them better by starting them out with a good 10 minutes of banter between who's the actual host, as any good podcast should have.
Yes, as any good podcast, there should be arguments about power roles within the system.
So basically, capitalism. Okay, sorry, no politics. But yeah, that's where my story ends. I just kind of got in an elevator with some guys. One of them recognized me from the podcast, and
that actually made me think about the fact this actually happened just recently too. But one of my roommates actually went on a whole spiel about why capitalism is bad because Elon Musk shouldn't be allowed to have as much money as he does. But that's honestly getting a little bit too political for this podcast.
Yeah, let's not go there.
I just wanted you guys to know that was something my roommate said. I'm not going to say whether I agree or disagree with it because I'm going to keep politics off the podcast. So
Yes. Because, yeah. All right, so as you said, you had your own hilarious, entertaining story.
So Will mentioned that before we started the podcast about me sleeping and him having to call to wake me up, and that he saw on Discord that I was playing a game, and that was how he thought, oh, this guy's probably up and awake and actually doing human person things. The game that I was actually playing was probably called Big Screen, and basically it's just a Steam. I don't even know if you can really call it a game, but it's basically just a Steam application that.
Yeah, I was about to say, is it like an application?
Yeah. So it kind of just basically lets you use your desktop in VR. Like if you have a VR headset, then you can have it can be on a TV, or you can have a virtual screen in front of you or something like that. Basically just of your desktop. So I was doing that. I was using that to read a particular article that I'm reading that's very long and very boring. It's for a class project that I have to do. But I was reading that, and I was using VR to read it because I don't know why I was doing that. I just decided that I wanted to do that. But yeah, I literally fell asleep.
What is the difference? Are the words flying by you as you read them?
No, it literally.
Are they 3D models that you can walk up to and read?
It's
what's the main difference?
The main difference is that the screen is floating in the air in front of you instead of on a desk.
So it's not even full 360 view. It's just a screen that you look at.
You could make it full 360 view if you wanted, but I didn't have it that way. It was just a screen, yeah. But you can make the screen as big as you want. It's a virtual screen. Anyway, like I said, I don't have a particular.
I'm just trying to picture it. I'm just trying to picture it in my mind, having. This is the closest thing I have to a VR. So put it on VR to just read.
You can do other things with it. Like I said, I don't.
The words are right there. Wow, so futuristic.
Like I said, I don't really have a particular purpose as to why I was using VR
You don't have
to
a particular
read.
purpose. That sounds about right.
I just wanted to, for whatever reason. I just felt like it would be interesting. But anyway, I fell asleep while I was doing that, as you do.
As anyone would when reading.
So that is why I was sleeping whilst Discord still said that I was playing a game.
Were you sleeping with your VR set on?
I fell asleep while reading. What do you think?
So that's a yes?
I mean, to be fair, if you spend enough time in it, you kind of forget about it. It's not that uncomfortable.
If I was your roommate and I like walked in,
dude,
and
you want to know? You want to know the
unconscious
funniest part? You want to know the funniest part? My door was open.
So if I was your roommate and I just walked by and I saw you on the bed with a VR set on, I would have thought that VR set had fried your brain and that you were dead. Like, you spent too much time in VR and it literally fried your brain, and now you're just on the bed dead, just like. That's what I would have thought. I would have been like, someone get a medic.
Medic! Nah, I'm gonna send you. I'm actually gonna take a screenshot of what I was reading so you can see.
Is this gonna be part of the podcast now? Just us reading what you were?
No, we're not. We're not
reading?
gonna actually read it, but you can put like a screenshot up on the podcast just to show like if the chat. The viewers. Just show them what the final image in my brain was before I.
The final image. If your brain was fried and this was the final image. Okay, let's read this.
No, you don't have to read it. You don't have to read it. Chat doesn't want to hear that. Chat doesn't want to hear that.
They don't want to hear it, but apparently they want to see it, according to you.
Well,
that's why I'm putting it up on.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is boring. I'm not reading it.
Yeah, it's very boring. Like I said, it's boring. It's like 100 and.
It's also not like it's 100 classified or like. It's fine for me to put it up, right? Is it?
Yeah, no.
Is it like copyrighted or like?
No, this is a public. It's actually a report from an investigation done by the NTSB on an aviation accident. Basically, a plane crashed, and the NTSB did an investigation on it. But I'm telling you what it is. But yeah, so all of these investigation documents are public records, so there's nothing wrong with you putting it up.
Gotcha. All right.
Like anybody could just go online and look this up. So
I don't know why you would if you're not already part of this.
Well, okay,
class.
That's what I did to find it because I need it for my class project.
I'm saying for anyone not in the class, like.
Well, those people are just massive skill issues. I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know what to tell me at this point.
Just for reference, chat, we've been rolling for almost 18 minutes, and we have not started to discuss a topic.
All right.
Remember when Will said this was going to be a banger episode? We're not off to a great start.
Definitely started off with a bang. I'll say that. With you hosting. Put that in quotes.
Hosting. Hold on, what do you mean by that? Me hosting? Are you meaning...
I mean exactly what I mean. Pay attention to the tone that I say it.
We started off with a bang with me hosting because my hosting was good, or we started off with the bang being the sound of the podcast going to shit because I was hosting?
Yes. Anyways, let's move on. I feel like some of our viewers listening to this is probably tired of us bantering like this, and actually want us to get along and be friends.
Somebody in the chat is sitting there watching this and going, "Just get to the point already!"
All right, I'm gonna tell one more story. And then we're gonna get into some topics.
Yeah, that person that I just mentioned. That person that I just mentioned just clicked off the video.
All right, let's actually try to be a podcast now that's entertaining. How about that? So, as of recording this right now, this is my final week in the spring semester before
Wait,
moving back to moving back to my hometown to spend the summer. And thank you. Thank you. I don't know why that deserves an applause. Just me saying that I, finishing a semester, but thank you.
I don't know. That's a pretty big accomplishment, finishing a semester in college. You know how few people can do that? How many people just drop out of college? That's actually, like, genuine. That's not a joke. Like, a lot of people do. I think finishing college is a genuine accomplishment. I get that.
Yeah, no, I get that, but I feel like that happens a lot more with during my freshman year, because I do remember last year, one of my roommates who was a freshman, he ended up dropping out after one semester. But this story I'm going to tell is actually about this room. I'm going to tell a little story about this room, because after this episode, I'm going to be back home, and I'll be recording somewhere in the house. But
somewhere.
Now, for this story, I'm actually going to implement something that that Discord allows, and it allows me to switch my camera from my laptop to my phone. So right here, my phone is recording, and I want to tell a story about this door right here that leads to outside.
Just pointing out the fact that we're all exposing him for his use of an Apple product. Laugh at this man for using an Apple product for recording the podcast.
What? No, don't laugh at me. Hold on. POV, your will during the podcast. Hey, yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another banger episode. Today we are going to be talking to Steven about stuff. I don't know how. This is weird. We're like filming this, but
look at all of those servers that are not in folders.
All right. So to set the stage, this right here is my front door, and when I open it, it leads to outside, right? Now, I got a door right here that leads to my closet, where all my clothes are, everything. So, if you notice, right here, this is a lock for my door that, like, when I lock it, it locks my door. You want to know what can happen sometimes? Sometimes when I'm trying to leave, I will close it, I will try to open it, and it will collide with this door right here. And sometimes this little thing.
Hold on. I just want to point out.
No.
I love the fact that there's a stopper, like one of the rubber stoppers, like you usually see on the wall, just stuck on the other door.
Yeah.
What happens if they hit each other at a different angle? That stopper's not gonna work.
Yeah, you see this right here?
Yeah, that seems about right.
This is scraping from every time they hit at a different angle, like that. But what I want to articulate right here is how sometimes you see this lock right here. Sometimes it collides into the door, and at just the right angle, it will lock it. And as I'm trying to leave, in this case, it does actually go back into being unlocked, but sometimes, let me tell you, sometimes it locks itself, and then when I close it, it'll actually stay locked. Most of the time it works normally like that, but sometimes it actually stays locked. So when I'm trying to come back inside, I'm gonna come out here. It locks itself. And usually I'm able to open it back up, but sometimes
I don't know if you realize, but when you go outside like that, your microphone's still sitting on your desk, so me in the chat can't hear you.
Oh yeah, that's right. All right. Yeah. I'm not just gonna. Let me turn my thing back on. But so basically the point I'm trying to make is because that door collides into that door and sometimes turns the lock on, sometimes I get locked out of my room and I don't understand why it's happening. And only recently did I make the connection that whole thing is why it happens. So yeah, That's just something I just wanted to talk about.
He just wanted to explain to us why he's sometimes locked out of his room.
Yeah,
Actually, to be
just
fair,
like pointing out a constructional flaw with this
this,
room.
this is something that I'm actually somewhat proud of. I don't know if I should be or not, but I've never actually been locked out of like a room like in my apartment at all. I don't know if that's something that's special or an accomplishment, but I don't know. I feel
Good
accomplished.
job. You're responsible. Good job.
No, I just knew how to pick an apartment that didn't have problems with the door. You know, sounds like all that yapping is just a skill issue.
You calling me a yappinator?
That's not what I said.
Okay, let's get along. Let's. Anytime I feel like we're arguing, I'm just gonna sound the alarm, which is like, get along, get along, get along. I don't know why we're at each other's throats today.
Because it's for entertainment.
I feel like usually we're a lot more passive.
Passive aggressive, yeah.
I don't know. Is this just me? All right. So, moving on. How do you feel about that segment, by the way? Of me, like, picking up my phone and, like, moving around. Like, obviously, yeah, like, the mic wasn't able to pick up. But, outside of that, how that, do you think that's entertaining for the podcast?
I mean, yeah, probably.
Like, how did it, like, look to you? Because obviously I wasn't able to fully see.
I mean, it looked basically like POV your will, essentially.
That's the title of this episode, POV Your Will.
Yeah, just make the thumbnail be just make the thumbnail be
Of the microphone.
yeah.
I was just like in front of the
Just be,
I'm gonna make the episode
the thumbnail's
title,
a very
POV,
bad,
you're the new host of To Make Sure.
which is consistent with the fact that To Make Concern does have a new host.
Alright, so let me, the non-host, introduce a new topic. How about that? Alright, so as a lot of you can notice, right there shows what NFL team I support. The Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, because he's very vocal about it.
And if you also notice, on my chair it also has the Falcons logo. So I'm very hardcore when it comes to supporting the Falcons. But with that being said, some stuff has happened to
I bet
so
it
basically
has.
to provide context, our team last season had a very bad quarterback and a very bad head coach. Like, they were both bad at what they did.
So Auburn basically.
So in an attempt to have a better season, we got ourselves a new head coach, and we also acquired a new quarterback who goes by the name of Kirk Cousins, who has been playing in the NFL for a really long while. For a while, he's been with the Minnesota Vikings, but now we have traded with them to acquire Kirk Cousins and have him be our quarterback. However, the team was recently under investigation for tampering. Now, if you don't know what this means, this essentially means that there's a certain date during the off season in which trades and like negotiations can naturally start. And if teams start negotiating before that date, that is considered tampering because you're getting an unfair advantage to acquire someone that no other team has a chance to negotiate with. So the TLDR of it is the Falcons essentially started early in acquiring a quarterback. And
Oh, chat. I think think Will
Tip
kind
made public what the punishment for this for the Falcons is going to be, but basically it's giving us a disadvantage in being able to draft as many players, and that could lead to potentially, bad stuff for this next season. So, my team, why? Why? You
How
gotta wait
could
another
this
day.
happen to me?
How could this happen to me? I made a mistake. I didn't make the mistake. They made the mistake, but all right. So that was that. So these next two topics are just gonna let you know they're gonna be music based. I know how much you love listening to modern music.
Or how much I know about it in general.
Yep. So, by the way, as the host, do you have any other topics you want to bring up before I get into this?
No, I don't have any topics. I have no topics, no bitches, no.
Why is that necessary information?
I
mean, we all know it, but like, why do you have to say it?
You all know it. From where?
I mean, come on.
What are you trying to say here? What are you trying to imply? What's the implication here? Why
can't we be friends? Let's get along. We're just bantering today. I don't know what. All right. So according to the bitch list, Steven, he has no more topics. So I will reclaim my title as host, and
for now.
Okay. All right. So, Steven.
Yes, Will.
Do you, by any chance, know who JoJo Siwa is?
Isn't she... Well... okay. I may have at one point in the past known who she was, but I remember when, her as, like, a kid.
Right.
I don't remember how long ago that was, so she may or may not still be, like, a kid anymore. I don't know. Right. But she's, like, some kind of celebrity for something.
Let me just double check real quick something. Yeah, as of right now, she's 20 years old, but years ago she was a kid. So yeah, she was a very popular kid. She was known as like a very popular influencer. She had her own YouTube channel. She also had her own brand of like merch and stuff. And she essentially just made a lot of YouTube videos on like, I don't exactly know what she did. She just made a lot of videos, and she's just known as like a cute kid, influencer. Right. She was known for making some songs and stuff as well. So just imagine like a very positive like kid image for someone. So that's the person we're talking about. Recently, she has made a song called Karma, and with this song she is basically moving away from the kid image and is moving on to a more adult image. This song she's singing she cursing.
She is moving in from being a kid to being an adult, so kind of makes sense.
But she's making the song, it has cursing. The chorus literally goes, "Karma's a bitch, and should have known better." And she has like black makeup, like mascara, like
yes, because obviously outfit. Black makeup and mascara is associated with explicit content.
And it's like it kind of has the association of like edgy, just kind of like this edgy, rebellious kind of look to her.
Yeah, I guess.
So, and a lot of people are kind of perplexed at this. Like, wait, is this the same JoJo Siwa that made all this kid-friendly stuff, and now she's making this music? And
I mean, people grow up. That's just how it
also,
works.
I will also say, this also is a technically a cover song of a previous like Britney Spears song that she made in the past, and a lot of people have made comparisons to both versions, and they say that her version is worse. JoJo Siwa's version is worse. But regardless, it feels like a lot of the criticism is just based on her, like, it's not even the criticism, it's more like poking fun at the fact that she used to be this very like kid kind of, you know, this like kid influencer turned this just like very edgy music. And I just wanted to ask what you think of that.
I mean,
Again, saying that like
like I
she
said,
is 20 years old now.
yeah,
and,
like I said, like
things.
people grow up and people like, you know, are able to do things like that when they grow up. Like interests change, especially when you're younger. Interests change a lot. Your ideas change a lot. It's just something that happens. So like I don't think that anyone should really be surprised necessarily that like that it's changed. Like, yeah, she used to make all like the kind of content that she made when she was a kid, but she's not a kid anymore, so she's not making that content anymore. She's transitioning into a different style of content to reflect her getting older. Like that's a normal
Right.
thing. That's not something that people should be complaining about, in my opinion.
Yeah, and that's kind of the sentiment that I have as well. Like I don't know a whole lot about her, but I just noticing a bunch of like videos coming out about like JoJo Siwa does this type of music now, and I guess it's just like, whoa, super crazy. And it's
That's
like,
crazy, yo. I would have never known that by just, you know, looking up the artist myself.
yeah. But yeah, that's just kind of something I wanted your opinion on, because like, you know, as like I just want to get an outside opinion
Yeah, of course.
on this.
They get an outside opinion from the most uneducated person on planet Earth.
Yeah. And also, this is what this show is all about. It's all about getting opinions on a lot of like stuff that a lot of people from, you know, people are saying this is right or like this is wrong, like they're all clashing, and now I'm just getting a very neutral opinion on it. That's what this podcast is about.
Exactly.
All right. So that's kind of the topic I just wanted to bring up briefly. Now, this last topic I'm going to bring up, this one I know a ton about. I haven't even heard the JoJo Siwa song. I just heard snippets of it, and I just thought it was interesting. Like, when just sitting here thinking of topics to talk about, that's something I was thinking about. But now I want to talk to you about this. Say what?
Now you want to talk to me? Not the whole rest of the podcast you didn't want to talk to me, but now specifically you've decided, okay,
What?
it's time.
What are you talking about? What do you mean I don't want to talk to you? What? I'm literally here talking to you.
That was the joke.
Okay. All right.
If you guys can't tell, I'm very bad at comedy.
I can't tell what the punchline is supposed to be.
The punchline was you said you want to talk to me now, as if implying that you didn't want to talk to me before, but you were just doing it anyway because you had to or something. Oh no, it was a bad joke.
All right. Don't worry, I've made bad jokes as well, so we're all victims of it. Or I guess you could say suspects of making bad jokes.
Suspects.
All right. So, Steven.
Yeah. That's my name. Don't wear it out.
How much... I already know the answer of this, but how much rap music do you listen to?
If I were to take a percentage of all of the music that I listen to on a somewhat regular basis, rap music would probably compose about 0% of it.
0? Yeah. I knew it. Okay. So this, I might have to explain a little bit to I'm essentially going to tell you a story. It's going to be a whole story of
Story time,
what's
kids.
going on. What's going on in the rap scene right now. Essentially, what's happening is a whole civil war is basically happening. So
Like between
let me explain.
artists.
Between artists, let me explain. We essentially have a Thanos situation of like the Avengers, like a bunch of the Avengers versus Thanos. We can't have that situation going on in the rap scene. Let me explain. So we have this. We're gonna have to introduce some characters in this story. So the front man of all this, the one considered Thanos in this whole thing, is the rapper known as Drake. He is very popular. I feel like everyone, even if they don't listen to him, they at the very least know who Drake is. He's a rapper from Toronto. We've talked about him before. Very iconic figure in pop culture. And as of right now, he is the center of all this. And the people who have beef with him are the rappers known as Future, Kendrick Lamar, The Weeknd, Rick Ross, and he's not a rapper, but his name is Metro Boomin. He is a rap producer. He makes instrumentals for these other rappers. And also one other name I threw out, The Weeknd's not technically a rapper. He is a more of R&B singer, but yeah, those are names. I know I just kind of threw all of them out all at once, but it all makes sense in a little bit. So to explain this whole beef, there's this album that came out earlier this year. That's Future's album that's executively produced by Metro Boomin, the hip hop producer. And Future is the rapper who raps on all the beats that Metro Boomin makes on this album. Now, on one of the songs called Like That, there's a feature rapper called Kendrick Lamar. Now, Kendrick Lamar and Drake, they have had some ongoing beef for the past several years. And they've kind of hashed it out in like subliminal, like not really directly calling them out, but like there was tension brewing between them for a good while. Essentially, Drake brought Kendrick along on some of his tours, and they've initially had respect for each other, but then as Kendrick started to rise in popularity and started getting a lot more credibility as like an actual artist, Drake had some shots thrown at him because he felt some type of way about the respect that he was getting, that Kendrick was getting, that he didn't feel he himself was getting. Because Drake is known more as kind of like a pop artist who like makes a lot of pop songs with like also doing rapping as well. Meanwhile, Kendrick is regarded as a very lyrically skilled rapper, as even referred to as like one of the greatest rappers of our current day. So we have these two conflicting sides of like two people who are like kind of having a little bit of tension with each other. But up until this point, they had never outright called each other out on a track. Now, one other person that is included in this whole thing is a rapper called J. Cole. He is another rapper who is also known as, you know, being lyrically great and known as a local rapper. But he and Drake have made songs together. Now, one of the songs they made that was released last year, 2023, they've made a song called First Person Shooter. And on this song, J. Cole brings up the a common thing that people in the rap fans have been debating about who's considered the big three. Because in each genre, there's always like a select few who are like the representatives of that genre and of a certain era. And for a while, people have been calling have been naming the big three as Drake, Kendrick Lamar, and J. Cole as part of the big three. And J. Cole had a line where he references of like him, Drake, and Kendrick being the big three. Even though Drake and Kendrick have tension between each other, they are still put together as kind of like the unofficial big three because they're the most popular and like some would argue the most culturally relevant in the genre. Are you able to understand anything that I'm saying? By the way, just want
I mean,
you
to
stay very
me,
silent.
well, I'm kind of just listening because I don't really like. You probably know that I don't really follow this kind of stuff, so I don't really understand a lot of this. It sounds like rap music politics, essentially. Like basically just
It gets interesting. I promise. I'm
the
just explaining
politics
the context.
in the sense that like it's what's going on between people in like this particular industry.
It's not necessarily the same thing as politics. It's just kind of more like people having beef with each other. But I'm just
Yeah.
kind of explaining the context behind everything, and I'm trying to phrase it in a way that you can understand. So if you're not understanding, just let me know because I want you to understand this because this is very fascinating. Very fascinating thing that's happening in the rap scene right now. So to try to simplify it, it's basically there's this big three of rappers who are like the most popular: Drake, Kendrick, and J. Cole. Two of these rappers, Drake and Kendrick Lamar, have had tension with each other because one like a whole history with each other. So because and also I'm trying to pace myself here because admittedly there is a lot to the story, and if you're not already following it, it is a bit hard to understand. I do get that. I'm trying. I guess I'm just trying to figure out a way to like best explain this. So, but you understand the core thing I'm saying, like
Yeah,
big three.
basically, there's big three rappers. They have beef with each other. They've made songs that reference one of them being the greatest of the big three, something like that.
Right. Okay. So Drake and J. Cole, part of the big three, they collaborated on this song. They have never had beef with each other, and they were on this song talking about it, about the big three, them being part of the big three. So several months later, in February of 2024, there's this album that dropped with Kendrick Lamar as a feature, and he throws a lot of shots at Drake and also throws shots at the song made, in which he says, "Motherfuck the big three, it's just big me." So with that, he basically calls out the whole conversation by saying, "Look, I'm not part of the big three. I'm the number one big one, and it's just big me." And so he essentially calls out the two rappers into question on this conversation. And on the same album, there's also been subliminal shot by the other rappers called by the other rapper Future. Now he, along with Metro Boomin, have also had issues with Drake, but I'm not going to go into more of the history of that. Just know they've also had beef with Drake. And so with this whole thing, Drake is now put in a position. Drake and J. Cole, both of them are now put in a position where a response from both of them are anticipated. The first rapper of the two to make a response was J. Cole. Now this is where it gets interesting. You ready for this?
I don't know. Am I?
So here's what's interesting. He goes on to release a mixtape called Might Delete Later, where he has a bunch of throwaway songs put together, and then at the end, he has a song called 7 Minute Drill, in which he disses Kendrick Lamar back. Now, that was released on Friday, but on on Monday, 3 days later, he redacts his diss and actually apologizes to Kendrick Lamar for the disses, basically saying that he wasn't actually intending on wanting to diss, but he was kind of pressured into dissing it because everyone else was like, "Yeah, rap civil war, diss each other," and and a lot of people are giving him flack for that, for basically stepping out of the beef after dropping a diss track and then like, you know what, never mind, I'm not dissing. so so he took himself out of the beef essentially, and a lot of people are not happy with him with that. Someone calling him a coward, someone calling him, you're not able to be number one anymore because you stepped out of this beef. But with that, a couple of weeks later, Drake, who is the other one part of the big three, he released his own response towards Kendrick. And he also, and this that's approximately 4 minutes long. He throws shots at Kendrick. He also throws shots at all the other rappers who were also featured on that album. That the entire thing kind of seemed like a subliminal diss towards Drake, with that one song with Kendrick Lamar being the most direct shot at Drake. And Drake, with this one song, throws shots at every single one of them. And a lot of people are dumbing him, are essentially calling him Thanos and the other rappers in question the Avengers. And this whole rap war is happening. So that's what's happening right now. And a few days later, a couple of weeks later, Drake actually made a second track to diss Kendrick Lamar specifically. And you want to know what he did?
What?
On the track, he used AI to replicate two artists, Tupac and Snoop Dogg, two famous rappers who are known for representing the California, like, west side of rap. That Kendrick Lamar is also from California, kind of like representing himself as like the modern day Tupac, kind of. And so Drake used the AI of Tupac, who's dead now. So to essentially like kind of tease Kendrick, is like, yeah, Kendrick, go ahead and diss Drake. Go ahead and diss him. We need you. Just kind of like as a mocking, kind of add fuel to the fire kind of thing. So that's what's happening right now. Beforehand, none of this was really happening, and like the whole scene was kind of like getting oversaturated with a bunch of people just trying to make TikTok hits. But now we got a whole event going on of just like back and forth disses being churned out. But because, by the way, these aren't the only rappers beefing. There's other rappers who have begun their own diss tracks against each other. Essentially what's happening, the whole TLDR of this whole thing, if you don't know any of the details, here's what you need to know. In the rap scene right now, there's competition happening. And because of that, a lot of good music is being produced because of it, because a lot of people are now having to try once again to make good songs. And a lot of people are appreciating that about this whole thing. And it's basically a fascinating case study of how to create excitement in music again through the simple act of dissing someone else. And that's the most fascinating part of this that I want to talk to you about. So, after me saying all of this, dumping all this information on you, how much of it do you actually understand?
I understand that there is some people who make rap music that don't like each other and wrote songs about them being the best, and then other ones wrote songs about them not being the best, and then it's like, no, I'm the best. And then people thought that this was a good thing because they're competing with each other and it makes music exciting.
Yes. All right. I understand for a lot of people who don't already have the prior knowledge of this, this is probably essentially me yapping, like yapping for a good while. But, understand this, I don't really have a point with all this. I just wanted to tell you about it, Steven.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't really have necessarily an opinion on it. If you were gonna ask for that, because, I mean, like I said, I don't really follow it. So, I mean, like, I understand what you're
Yeah.
saying.
Okay.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I just don't really like have a view on it. So,
Okay. That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, this is just something I just wanted to try. Like, try to like explain this whole thing. But I think next podcast episode, I should probably stick to more vague topics and not try so hard to explain backstory because I tired myself out trying to explain all this.
yeah, I'm gonna be honest. It does sound genuinely like one of those people you see that they've got like the note cards taped onto like the board and the red yarn between them, and they're up there like conspiracy theory, like no, I promise nobody else knows this, but this is like how it goes, you see. And they're like trying to connect all these facts and coming up with this big elaborate
That's kind
theory.
of how I sounded. That's kind of how I sounded.
I'm not trying to insult you or anything, but it actually sounded like that.
Right, I get it. Yeah. I think we've talked about this before about how, trying to come up with topics that we both can get on the same page about. But I was just trying to like introduce you a little bit more into my world of like what I pay attention to. But yeah, all right. Try to like fill you in on something exciting that's happening right now.
Right.
And also, I forgot to mention this. One of the other people involved in this whole thing is Kanye West.
Of course.
That's the whole thing I forgot to mention too. Kanye West and Drake have been beefing, and Kanye West released his own remix of that song we talked about, like that, where he throws shots at Drake and J. Cole. That's something I completely forgot to mention. Because I know how much you know about Kanye West.
Which is literally nothing other than we're allowed to talk about politics when he's involved.
That was our big joke back when he was trying to run for president and stuff like that.
Yeah. The joke was basically we can talk about politics if Kanye West is involved, because any politics involving Kanye West are just so silly that it's like you can barely take it seriously.
Right. All right. I have tired myself out talking. If you don't have any other topics, we can end the episode.
I don't think I have anything else, at least not that I can think of.
All right. Thanks for watching. By the time the next podcast episode gets underway, I'm going to be not in here. I'm going to be back home. And we're going to be having some summer episodes.
And as for me, I may or may not still be here because I'm bound to this location for flight training reasons until
hostage.
Yeah.
All y'all need to understand. He's being held hostage right now.
Basically, for reasons relating to what I'm majoring in and the kind of training that I have to do in order to get that major, then I'm kind of stuck here for maybe a little after finals week, maybe a lot after finals week. I don't know, because there's no way for me to really tell how long it's going to be. So I'm basically here for an indefinite amount of time until I figure out when I actually am allowed to leave.
How to leave.
Yeah. And
it's
not that I like have to stay here. I technically don't have to, but I am, because I don't want to wait the entire summer and then not finish like basically the course that I'm on right now, because I'm like on a particular section of the course, like the flying course, the How to Fly Airplanes 101 thing. So
okay.
Ideally, I would be able to finish this section before I like leave and go back home for the summer. Because if I didn't finish it, then I would basically go home for the summer and not fly at all for like a few months, and then come back and have to like finish this stuff that I didn't finish, and then I would be late starting on the stuff that I'm going to be doing next, like in the fall. So the best thing would be to like to be able to basically finish this semester so that I can just start directly in the fall. It's kind of confusing, but it's basically the fact that I want to get done what I'm doing so that I can do the things that I need to do. Yeah.
All right, we get you. All right.
So
But yeah,
I will be home.
once you do, hold on. Once you do end up making it back, what I want to do is I want to do a podcast episode where we're both like in one location.
Yeah, we should.
Like that, I think that'd be a fun episode of us like actually being there physically. And we might even do another Mario Kart live stream.
We should.
Yes.
We should 100% do another Mario Kart live stream so Will can get himself
Yeah.
embarrassed again.
No.
Better be practicing. Better be practicing if you're gonna talk like that, because you see now you've piqued my interest. Now I want to do it.
Right. All right. We'll have our own beef. We'll have our own rap beef. We're gonna make rap diss tracks against each other until the tournament comes out. Until the
new Mario Kart mixtape dropping. You guys heard it here first.
I might make a Mario Kart mixtape where I'm just gonna make tons of songs just about you being trash.
Yeah, I'm gonna make songs about how you've lost like 5 out of the.
We're doing these tracks against each other. What if that whole rap beef I was talking about, what if it just ended in them playing Mario Kart to decide who's the best rapper?
I mean, honestly, that would be that. Like, I think playing Mario Kart as a method of deciding who's right on a particular topic is very underrated.
Yeah, like why even have political debates anymore when they could just play Mario Kart to decide who's the next president?
Exactly.
That's what I'm going to vote for.
Like, come on, if you're not good at Mario Kart, do you really deserve to be president anyway? Like, come on.
Yes. That's what we should have. Yeah. Right.
No voting systems. It should just be who's better at Mario Kart.
Yes. All right. So with all that being said, thanks for watching. As always,
please like and subscribe for another episode of To Whom It May Concern.
To Whom It May Concern. We were 100% on sync with that.
Yeah. But I'm the host, so mine was right, so make sure you guys remember that. Anyway, thanks for watching. Get out of here.